Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
If they drop off, you just cast them again. The PTR really doesn't want me to film this video. What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. I thought I'd just show you this in action. This is Lazymancer 3.0. I've got no main stat paragon. Really easy to play this build. Really tough, really tanky. Does loads of damage. So we can just kind of, you know, run around. Don't have to press any buttons. It's pretty nice. We don't use Land of the Dead. We don't have any cooldown. Inarius is the starting set for the Necro next season, so that is pretty good. This is about as easy as a build gets to play, and yeah, pretty wild that there's absolutely zero main stat paragon in this. Obviously, if we did have the paragon in, we would be melting these enemies pretty quick, and the only thing we have to really worry about is pressing teleport every few seconds. So this is absolutely perfect if you want to do some chill bounty farming, you want to do some chill key farming. Just literally walk around, teleport every 10 seconds, and yeah, stuff will pretty much melt, which is pretty good. So what I'll do, I suppose, probably should show you how it works, but I just thought we'll do it a little bit different today. We'll kind of show the build in action, and then we'll get on to the explanation afterwards. Really easy to play this, completely and utterly brainless. The only thing we need to make sure is that we command our skeletons, and that's pretty much it. And if you get a good map, they'll just do that all on their own, and we don't really need to worry about it. We're going to use a lot of the new Necro items, which is pretty nice, and yeah, we can just kind of stand about, and you know, we've got a lot of toughness, as you can see. But, you know, just go stand in the middle of this. Yeah, pretty easy, pretty easy. Right, let's go back to town. Let's turn off Numlock and go back, and I'll show you how this works. So Lazymancer has been a thing for a while. It's not really ever been able to do GR75 without quite a lot of effort and generally cooldown. So it's really nice that this is now back, and that we can pretty much play it. So I'll quit this game because I might want to fiddle about with the skills. So yeah, I'll be back in a sec. So as you can see, guys, we didn't use the main stat paragon for that. We just obviously used the gear, and I've got a couple of augments, but they're pretty low. So I think an 85 here, an 80 there, and I think an 80 there as well. So that's it. So main stat 11k, not particularly high. Now we're going to be taking 6 pieces of Inarius for this. The 2-piece for Inarius, forget it, doesn't matter, doesn't do any damage. 4-piece bone armor grants 3% damage reduction, so additional 3%. Normally grants 3% on its own, but with Inarius 4-piece that goes up to 6%. Amazing, because we take the Wisdom of Kalon necklace, which gives us 15 bone armor stacks. So once we're up to 15 stacks, 6% per stack damage reduction, that's 90%. That's pretty big in of itself, but when we pair that with a Dainty's binding and a curse on the bar, what it means is that we basically take 5% of incoming damage, 95% damage reduction. It's absolutely crackers huge, which is really, really good. Now, reworked for this PTR has been the 4-piece. So if you're playing this on live, it'll only say 2% extra damage. Doesn't sound like much of a change, but trust me, it really is. Now the 6-piece, we get a swirling bone nado around the character when we activate bone armor. What that will basically do is it'll tag enemies, and it will make them take 10,000% extra damage. Now the mechanism for killing stuff actually is going to be damage over time effects. So we're going to take the Gem of Efficacious Toxin. This will poison enemies to death, so weapon damage as poison over 10 seconds. We also bleed them to death with Pain Enhancer. So again, when we crit, we get crazy attack speed, and we also get this bleed effect as physical over 3 seconds. Now because this damage over time is physical, and because this one is poison, what it means is we get crazy uptime on COE. So Necro's only got 3 elements, so cold, like now, we don't get any extra damage, but when it rolls around onto physical, we get 200% extra on Pain Enhancer. Then when we go on to poison, we get 200% on Efficacious Toxin. So kind of like it's 2/3 of the time we're dealing an extra 200% damage because of COE. So obviously pretty good. Now we're going to take the Jasseth set. This has been reworked as well. We now just have to command our skeletons for a 400% damage increase on everything, which is great. So again, these damage over time effects are now benefiting from 400%. On live, this only buffs pet damage, but now because of the PTR, next season we'll be able to take it. It also means the skeletons jump from target to target, so once the target melts, they'll jump to the next one, which is great. Now we're also going to take the Shadow Hook, so we get 0.5% extra damage per point of essence. Now this is pretty important because we're going to take Simulacrum Reservoir, so we want max essence basically on our Scythe as a secondary, on our shield as a secondary, we want it in the Paragon points at 50, and we're also going to take a passive that is going to give us some extra essence as well. So all those sources are pretty important, because what it means is that when we pop Simulacrum, our essence goes up to about 660, so that's 330% extra damage, which is bonkers huge. Now also changed in the PTR has been the Haunted Visions necklace. Now Simulacrum will drain 1% of our life every second, but the Simulacrum lasts forever. So this double damage effect with the huge essence pool, this is just up the whole time, so it's kind of like having a double damage mod the whole way, which is absolutely crackers. Now in theory this will kill you because it'll take 1% of your life. My life pool is absolutely huge because we don't need any cooldown, we don't need any skill damage, we don't need any area damage, so we're only gearing for main stat, vitality, life percent, armor and double crit basically. So life pool is huge, and this will eventually kill me if we just stand here in town, but obviously we've got loads of ways of getting sustain back. Right, what else haven't we covered? Bane of the Trapped is going to give us more damage, flat damage increase, everything that is, you know, slowed gets more damage, which is great. And then the normal, this normally is a problem for Necro, the Crispin's Ring, because it means you've got to take Land of the Dead because you just want the freeze. You get extra damage against slowed enemies, triple the double damage against any other hard CC. So freeze, stun. Now the way the skeletons work is interesting. They will just freeze for us, so they'll hop and go bump 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 target to target, they'll freeze it, you get your triple Crispins, and then you'll melt it, which is pretty nice. We also have Bone Armor Dislocation. This is an AoE stun, so again it will stun a big area around the character and everything will take the Crispins proc for us. Now because of the skeletons, because of the bone armor, it means we don't need Land of the Dead. We just get such huge damage from all the various sources we've got and from the 2 CCs that we've got on the character. It just means that we don't actually need to be worrying about cooldown, and that's what means that we can get this huge life pool of 1.7 million, because we're just taking vitality, life percent, vitality, all res. You know, I mean, you wouldn't really want all res, you'd want armor, but it's just so tough. It's absolutely bonkers. Nems is going to round out the gear just so that we get the elite spawns off pylons, and then the Stewart's Greaves allow us to run super fast. So we teleport once every 10 seconds and we get this 100% move speed bonus, so pretty nice. Damage gems obviously go in the gear, we're just looking to pump DPS, and then the helm, no point taking resource cost reduction, no point taking cooldown, so we may as well get an amethyst for some extra life. But if you were doing, let's say, key farming, and let's say you were going to put in a gold wrap here, you could certainly put a green gem in the helm, an emerald, and get some more gold. You know, you could certainly work that way. But yeah, other than that, guys, it's just, you know, really tough and tanky. Attack speed would be okay, because the more times you hit, the more times you're going to crit with your pain enhancer. You know, the more hits you get off, the more efficacious toxin procs you're going to get. Yeah, so attack speed's not bad, but other than that, just main stat, vitality, crit. Now looking at the skills in a bit of detail, command skeletons with the cold rune is going to do the freeze, as we say, pretty nice. Aura of Frailty, this just goes around the character, it will allow us to do the Dainty Binding Curse, and that's pretty much the only reason it's there, for damage reduction. This also takes 15% health off everything, so, you know, just makes it a little bit quicker, which is pretty good. We've got Bone Arm Dislocation, which we talked about. Devour, Cannibalise, this just is a huge source of sustain. Whenever we consume a corpse we get 3% health, and we also get essence. If you don't want to unlock this and you don't like it, by all means you can go for Devouring Aura and it'll have a fairly similar effect. You won't get the heal, but you'll be relying on Dark Reaping to get life back in that sense. Simulacrum Reservoir gives us the double essence with the Shadow Hook, that's the double damage, and then Blood Rush. I've put Potency on just for the extra armour, but another good choice would be Metabolism, which would give us an extra charge, and then you can use that twice, but we're using move speed mainly to get round, so again, you know, by all means swap that out if you want. Passive wise, Overwhelming Essence, more damage. Fueled by Death, because we're using Devour on Numlock, we get this kind of 30% extra move speed, which again beefs us up pretty nice. Final Service, whilst this is incredibly tough, when you start the Rift off you have 0 bone armor stacks. Highly likely you're going to die at the start, because if you get the 15 stacks straight away, then great, you get good RNG, you can get that up and you don't need this. But you might get crap RNG, you might get like a mob with shielding and arcane lasers and no other enemies around, so it's just helpful at the start of the Rift basically. And then Dark Reaping, whilst we're using a Scythe we gain 2% essence and life per kill, which will keep our life nice and handy topped up and stop us bleeding to death ever so slowly. So I think that's it guys, I think that covers everything. Obviously if we stick the Paragon back in, and maybe we'll just jump in and I'll show you, you know, maybe talk a little bit about the gameplay, just that we've got something at the end. So 75, obviously we could go higher than this. I haven't quite worked out how far to push this, because again there'll probably be better speed builds than this, but in terms of your GR kind of and bounty farming, this is kind of the level. So as you can see, crappy RNG, we've only got the 3 bone armor stacks here, so the lag on PTR is obviously pretty bad as well. But you just need to activate Simulacrum once at the start of the Rift, you don't need to touch that again. Skeletons I've dropped off because they don't have the gold bar around them, so you just need to reactivate them when you see an enemy, like that. Gold bar is up, they're now dealing extra damage, and as you can see, the enemy just disappears pretty quick. So they'll jump and do the freeze for us, so they'll jump from mob to mob like this, so it's all frozen, and then if we want to, obviously we can just get into a big group of stuff, hit bone armor, and it pretty much obliterates because the stun basically. So again, skeletons have dropped off, just reactivate them, and obviously the further you play this properly, and actually rather than me trying to like concentrate on looking at the bar and stuff, you know, you'll see they just keep going on. You just follow them around, you know, it's pretty lazy. But yeah, you get the idea. Obviously we've got a shield pile, but you can just stand about, you know, if you want to take a phone call, come back, do your bounties, you know, don't want to pause your multiplayer game, it's pretty good. But yeah, hopefully that's it guys, you get the idea. This is the Bonado, really lazy, a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm gonna check some other builds out. I'll be back with some more videos soon. Hope you're all doing well in lockdown, and I'll see you again real soon. Take it easy, peace.